Well, video gamers everywhere, it's that time of the year again.
Yes, it's time for the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2013.
Now, E3 is a time where game companies everywhere come together in Los Angeles and show off all the games they've been working on for the next year, the year after that,
and so on.
And so forth and so on. And this year is particularly large.
Yes, this time we actually get to see the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and hopefully a lot of games for the Wii U.
Yes, last year we thought that was going to happen. We thought we were going to hear about the PlayStation 4 and the next Xbox when it was at the time. We did not hear either of those, and we thought Nintendo was going to go all out with the Wii U, and we didn't get much of that either.
Yep, so last year was a disappointment, so we're moving in.
Yeah, you and Ubisoft with Watch Dogs. I mean, there was no denying it. Their conference was the best. And so this year we're doing the same thing we did last year.
It's a little different.
Yeah, we're going to go through our predictions for what we expect the big three and the third parties to do for E3. Granted, the day we're filming this was, I believe, is June 4th.
Yes.
We're already getting announcements of what's essentially going to be at E3, but we don't know everything since the convention hasn't really started yet.
Yep.
We'll be doing videos of impressions of those videos as they happen, essentially the night of, and then we'll also do one last one at the very end when we get to see things come to us at a head. Anyway, without further ado, let's move on with the predictions, shall we? Our first one is we're going to go in order here with the big ones: Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. So, being the first one, this is clearly Microsoft.
Yes, this is Microsoft's predictions.
Now, last year Microsoft tried to show a lot of services. We thought they were going to show off a new system and try and push for services for Xbox 360, which is what happened. Well, the latter did.
Well, they showed a lot of new things like the smart glass functionality, and they did Call of Duty again and Halo 4.
Yeah,
those are the big ones. But they also spent a long time on the Kinect and integration.
And third-party stuff as well. So when Microsoft's coming in here after their Xbox One announcement event, it was poor. There was only about 2 games from Microsoft's side, and then there was EA games, pretty much.
And what was the problem with that one was that they had a lot of glamour about it, glitz and glamour over it, and a lot of like hoot and hollering in the crowd, which didn't feel natural at all.
And to top it off, there was a lot of ambiguity with the communication afterwards. Like, does it use used games? Well, yes, but it's a fees. It has to be online, but only really once a day.
Is the camera always on?
These things were putting negative press into it without any absolutes. There were no absolutes. They said everything was in flux, and that just made things worse. So hopefully they'll be able to fix it up with this press conference.
We need absolutes. Yeah. We need absolutes, and we need games. And they've said before that the conference that already happened was designed as the stuff that people don't like at E3, and this time it's going to be focused solely on the games. I like to see that happen, but you know, Nintendo said that before.
So we've done enough prefacing, so let's get right into it. First things first, Call of Duty.
Yep, we already know it's going to be shown here. They already showed it at the other event. Yeah. They're going to actually show a playable demo, and it's going to be exclusive for that conference.
Yeah, and we guessed this last year, and we were pretty much right as well. We're probably going to have a segment where they're being stealthy, a lot of explosions, running away. You're probably going to see a moment where you kind of have to run away from something in a vehicle. They cut to something else for the sake of time.
But I think there's one thing they're going to do. What? They're going to have the dog.
Yeah,
the big thing was the dog, so they're going to have some kind of like dog scene where you tell your dog to go after something. Maybe they use the
Kinect. Maybe use Kinect.
Kinect, like, go there.
Yeah, point and the dog goes in that direction.
So that's what I'm thinking we're going to see.
Yeah, we're something like that.
Now, if it's going to be the beginning of it, I think it's going to be at the beginning.
I think it'll probably come at the beginning since we already know about Call of Duty Ghosts. So ending it with that doesn't really make much sense.
Yes.
So then we go to the games that we already know about from that event. Forza Motorsport 5 will be at the press conference. Mm-hmm. We saw a good trailer. Graphics looked good. We heard it was kind of like a CG trailer, but it was still using the assets. It looks great.
It looks a lot like it's more like Gran Turismo than it is Forza.
Well, Forza was their attack against Gran Turismo.
So we'll see what happens when they go up head-to-head this year.
Then you got Quantum Break from Remedy, which I'm guessing both of those 2 games are definitely
I'm still confused about Quantum Break. Is like have cutscenes that are real life, and then there's like the actual gameplay? I'm not sure. I think that the idea of that trailer that teaser was to get you confused and make you wonder what's going on.
They said it's going to be a combination of TV and the game, so I'm guessing it's going to have real life cutscenes that turn into the game and try to be like, this is some real crazy stuff, and you're going to be playing as this one cop. And they showed the artwork already for what the character looks like. It looks all right. We'll see how the game actually plays at E3. And on top of that, we also know of Rise.
Yes.
Now, Rise,
we've known that for like 2 years now. That was Codename Kingdoms, right?
2010 it was announced as Codename Kingdoms. It was a teaser, and then the year after that we got a semi-gameplay trailer for Rise. Then we didn't see it again. It's definitely coming out.
We actually predicted it would show up last year,
and it didn't. But now it's definitely coming out for the new Xbox One, and it's definitely coming out as a launch title.
And Kinect-based.
And it's Kinect-based, and I also there's going to be some gameplay control element in case you don't want to use Kinect. I don't know exactly the full details, but the game is going to be shown at the
And it's probably going to be a big trailer demonstration, and that'll be with their big Connect hardcore game.
Now, they did say that, I heard rumors going on, there's rumors everywhere. One of the rumors at the launch lineup for right now is essentially 4 games. One is Rise, one's Forza Motorsport, and then they mentioned 2 other ones. One being a sports-type game, a Connect like sports or party game, and I suspect it's Rare's game.
Yes, they've already handled like 3 now? Is it 3 or 2?
Two Connect...
2 sports bundles,
Sports.
and I think it's going to be the same thing, except now that the Connect has been upgraded, they could do a lot more with it. Maybe kind of like a Connect Sports Fit.
Yeah, they're not gonna, yeah, and we haven't seen any avatars yet for Xbox One. They might have actually removed them altogether. They could probably say, we can make them look even more realistic now, so why bother?
Who knows whether they're going to keep avatars around. They might keep them around because...
Yeah, we also did see from Xbox One's announcement, there was a screenshot that showed a Rare logo on a picture of somebody wearing like a flying suit with the. It looks like an island sort of paradise. I do think that's the game that they're working on. They're going to show off as a new. It's going to be a new IP. Now, speaking of Rare, rumors have come up that they've discussed that they're bringing a new historic Rare IP out to the masses at this upcoming E3.
And also, recently they just finished a court case over the license of Killer Instinct.
They had a squabble over Killer Instinct, so I'm going to guess that the fact that they were trying to retain that license, on top of the fact that they don't have a fighter yet, tells me Killer Instinct is definitely a good choice for a game coming out.
We haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Yeah, we haven't seen one since Killer Instinct Gold for the Nintendo 64.
And they could do it where they have one option where you have to use the Kinect, or one version use the action controls.
Now, on top of that, there's also new IPs that was expected out of that list of 4 that I mentioned. The 4th game was being listed as, quote, a zombie game. Now, it could be separate from what I'm going to mention here, but I think a zombie game is being planned. Whether it's going to be a darker, more like Zombie U-based, or more like Left 4 Dead, who knows. But Black Tusk is a new developer that was called Microsoft Vancouver, I think. They were making games before, and they turned themselves into Black Tusk, and rumor has it they have 2 games, new IPs in the works, and one of them might be that zombie game. I also heard a space sim shooter type game might also be involved, but definitely a new IP from Black Tusk will be there, I believe.
Now, there's one game we know about, Fable Anniversary.
Yes.
This was announced like today.
It was announced like today. Now, I do think that a new Fable, or a new game from Lionhead Studios, because Lionhead can't be just making a remake. So,
maybe because they're announcing the anniversary now, that it's because they have another game to announce at the conference, or that the one they're going to announce at the conference isn't coming out for another year.
Or because Fable Anniversary has nothing to do with Xbox One.
That too, it's an Xbox 360 game.
So I'm going to say that maybe not even a new Fable, but just the new IP from Lionhead Studios.
But I'm going to say that it's not coming out this year because they're having the
launch system of those games.
Yeah, and that Fable Anniversary is coming out this year. I think they're going to wait until next year to release their new Xbox One game.
All right, and then in that same picture where we saw Rare's picture with the guy in the suit, we also saw a picture that looked like an orb from Crackdown. So Crackdown 3, I'd say, is a good guess. It may just be a teaser trailer. It may not be actually coming out for another year, but it could be one of the games they're talking about. Now, we didn't mention this, but at the Xbox One unveiling, they said they're having 15 games from Microsoft in the first year or so of the Xbox One, 8 of which are new IPs and 7 of which are old. We already covered Forza Motorsport. We're probably going to have a new, an old Rare IP, and then you'd also have a Fable and Crackdown, and of course there's a few obvious ones that fill the gap there. But this is just obvious that they got to keep filling up. They're running out of IPs from Microsoft.
Yeah, so that's one thing they really should do is expand on their IPs, get new games out there.
Yeah, I don't think Ruffian, the developer of 2, is making this one though. Now, in terms of third-party games, we are going to see EA there in full form.
Yes, and I think EA is a huge supporter of the Xbox One.
Yes, a huge supporter.
They showed that already at the conference.
Yeah, with the 4 sports games, we might actually, unfortunately, see gameplay of Madden at their event.
Again, more sports games.
We did see that a couple of years ago. But I do see that one of the bigger games there is Respawn Entertainment's game. It's codenamed Titan. I believe they trademarked that game a few months ago, or a month or two ago. Rumor has it it's a game where you play as smaller soldiers, like foot soldiers, versus people who control giant mechs. And that game has been in development for about 3-4 years now. So it's going to be exclusive for Microsoft systems, 360 and Xbox One. Also, on top of that, I've heard rumors that EA has multiple exclusives for the Xbox One.
Yes, we've seen something such as Mass Effect. Was it new Mass Effect?
The new, I think Mirror's Edge 2.
Mirror's Edge 2, yes, that was it.
But I do think that EA might have more than just an exclusive game from Respawn, but I'm personally saying that prediction will include Respawn to cover my butt. So on that note, I also think they're going to have a mention of the downloadable-based games. Like maybe freemium type games or downloadable games or Xbox Live Arcade games, and they're not going to be called that anymore.
Yeah,
because they're now combining together. One rumor said League of Legends. I'm laughing at that possibility, but this is Microsoft we're talking about. They are willing to put a lot of money down to get systems.
I mean, they put what was it, $500 million?
$500 million.
$500 million to get that ESPN.
No, that was $400 million.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, $500 million. No, they're putting $1 billion in gaming investments on their side, so they're probably putting a lot.
At least they're putting more money towards the games.
Yeah.
We're predicting that there's going to be less than 10 minutes dedicated to the indie games, because as of recently, Microsoft has becoming very anti-indie, which is really strange, because that used to be the format to go to Xbox Live Arcade and all that jazz. Apparently that you can't self-publish anymore, and it's causing a lot of problems, and a lot of people are jumping ship and going to Sony, or even Nintendo, and I think it's a shame. They're not going to have their Xbox Live indie game thing anymore. I think they're going to flat out cut that market out and just say we don't need it anymore. We got what we wanted. We got the hardcore and the casuals. Why bother?
Yeah, I do think at most we're going to see a montage, and it's going to include some games here and there. But there really hasn't been much in the way of communications between at Microsoft and indies, from what I've seen from various sources.
At least not as much as the other two, which have gone up crazy.
Yeah, so.
We also are predicting that there's going to be more than 10 minutes to media OS discussion, sadly. Even though they said that, it's all about the games, you can't go to a conference and not talk about your OS a little bit.
Yeah.
And with a lot of all the not sures going on about what exactly is going down, they have to go in there and make definites and say, this is the real OS, because we just heard about that the OS was really clunky, and what we saw at the conference was actually fake.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to still be fake at the press conference, so they wouldn't do it like that. They're more likely, I would say that they could get to more than 10 minutes. They said it's going to be all about the games, but even Nintendo said they were going to focus all on games, and they were spending 5-10 minutes on Miiverse in their hour-long conference. They have the time, Microsoft, to put in 10 minutes of media OS discussion. They're just going to have it interspersed between everything else.
Heck, they might just do it where they start off by talking about that and get out of the way.
Yeah.
Or they just use Xbox play game, or they'll do it as they jump around, like Xbox play Call of Duty, Xbox play Quantum Break, and just little things like that to integrate the OS with the conference. And now the price. Will it be announced at the conference?
I don't think so. I think that they're busily looking at what Sony does. They're doing more wait and see than anyone else is. They want to see Sony give their particular pricing for the PS4, which is their want to do. And Nintendo might have a price drop. They want to see if they're going to. At the same time, there's a lot of components inside that are still in flux. I've heard rumors of the SRAM being changed and underclocked. So they need to work on getting that all figured out before they get a full price. But then again, they can eat any loss they want, so they can price it whenever they want. But personally, I think they're going to wait until games come or early fall.
They might do that. If they're going to announce it now, as of right now, what I think it's going to be $500, or it's going to be $300, but you have a payment plan. Because they've been doing that with the Xbox 360, where you pay a low price, $100, and then you pay $15 a month for over 2 years. It's going to cost more overall, but you get the pay it less front.
Yeah. Now, in regards to this 360, there's no backwards compatibility for the Xbox One. So I think that they really also want to make sure that people are willing to buy Xbox 360s continually.
Yes.
So I think that they're going to announce an Xbox 360 Mini.
Yeah, there was a rumor about this, that there was going to be some kind of box that may not even have a drive. I've heard strange rumors on it. But it's going to be basically an Xbox 360 Mini, and it's going to be about $100. And I think they're going to release it at the same time as the Xbox One, or even a little bit beforehand, and they're going to use it to try and take the market before they release the Xbox One. Yeah, they want to, because they want the 360 to continue to sell, because they have such a huge market already on that for that system. They want to make sure that they dominate both the older system sales as well as the newer ones, and they know that with the lack of backwards compatibility, there's going to still be a market for older systems. And the fact that the third parties are still releasing Xbox 360 games. Like, I think even until next year they're going to be releasing Xbox 360 games. It'd be stupid of them not to keep the Xbox 360 around. And the fact there's no backwards compatibility, might as well make some more money by releasing a smaller and more affordable Xbox 360 that people who have PS3s can now run and buy an Xbox 360 and play the exclusive games they never got before. You can't just end the conference by showing the Xbox 360 yet again.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that Microsoft want to do at the very end of their conferences, is show off one big game announcement or demonstration. And I think that they're going to do a teaser for Halo 5.
Yes, if we look back at the past E3, not even the one before the last one, they had a teaser for Halo 4, and then last E3 they had Halo 4 playable. So this is an off year, so we're going to see Halo 5's teaser this year, and next year we're going to see it in playable form.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see a big trailer. They're going to say, everything's in-game, prepare yourself, start the fight, or whatever it's called.
I don't know what it is. It's going to be weird.
It's going to be a pretty significant teaser, let's put it that way.
Yes, and if it's going to be on Xbox One hardware, it's going to look amazing, because already we saw how good Halo 4 looks.
Yeah, I'm guessing the engine for Halo 4 was more made for the One than for the Xbox 360.
That's why it was on 2 discs?
Yeah. Now let's do a new segment of our predictions called The Outlandish Guess. It's when we pick a completely baseless guess on something we really want. There's maybe some rumor or two out there. It seems so outlandish it wouldn't possibly happen.
And our guess for Microsoft is...
Perfect Dark or Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes, both franchises are owned by Rare. Rare has been making the same Kinect games every year, and did the Avatar thing. Why not make a new game? Bring back Perfect Dark or Banjo-Kazooie.
They don't have much of a game to attract children and younger audiences.
Like Viva Pinata.
So something like Banjo-Kazooie could be very useful to get people pulled in. As well, Perfect Dark has been hidden for 8 years since...
well, Perfect Dark Zero was a zero.
A zero.
And now, if you want to bring it back to what it was like with Perfect Dark on the N64. Bring it back to be a kind of spy-ish, rather than whatever Perfect Dark Zero was.
The only thing against is that, first of all, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts has pretty much killed the franchise in some fashion. And Perfect Dark, it hasn't been too good, and they have lots of shooters already. So those are the two arguments against it, but we would love to see those sort of things happen. That's why it's outlandish. Guess. Now, what do you see as the overall theme of this particular press conference?
Drumroll, please. Xbox. Play games.
After the Xbox One event, it wasn't too good.
It was just showing off services, showing off OS stuff. This time, they have to prove that the Xbox One plays games, and they're going to show games and games and games.
Yes.
If they do OS stuff, it's going to be so minute that you won't even notice it.
Yeah, and even the prediction we had earlier about the more than 10 minutes is probably going to be completely wrong. But we've been known to be wrong quite often. Anyways, and our big game is going to either be Call of Duty or Black Tusk's new IP.
Yes, those two seem to be the biggest ones, and definitely I think Call of Duty is going to be their big one, because that's the one that they get a lot of.
I know it's multi-platform, but the Black Tusk's new IP is also significant because it's probably a quadruple A shooter, which could replace Halo while they're making a Halo 5. In fact, they could even have 2 years without Halo and have it replaced by new IPs to try and fill the gap. But that's just our thoughts right there. And that's Microsoft.
Yes. So hopefully we see games.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see plenty of games. So on that note, click in this video anywhere, just the video itself. You will go to our predictions for Sony.
Xbox, PlayStation predictions. I'm connecting with the audience.